where former US President Donald Trump, believe it or not, has requested for a mail-in ballot ahead of a local municipal election in Florida, despite his frequent attacks on mail-in ballots. Now, the request by the former president was made nearly a week after the deadline to have a ballot sent by mail. Now, during the presidential elections last year, Donald Trump had repeatedly put forth his claims that electoral fraud is pretty easy to happen in mail-in ballots. Now, the records from the Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections show that a mail-in ballot was mailed to former president's permanent address at Mar-a-Lago. The completed ballot was received on Monday ahead of Tuesday's election. This latest request by Donald Trump is yet another instance in which the former president's action have pretty much contrasted with his rhetoric. Interesting request that was put forth by the former president of the United States, where he wanted a mail-in ballot for an election, a local election within Florida, although in the past he has been one of those individuals who said that mail-in ballots is something that can lead to a lot of electoral fraud.
Indeed, in fact, he suggested that mail-in ballots would mean that Republicans would lose many more elections, as they did in last November, of course. He did not win the election, and there was a huge increase in mail-in ballots. It is interesting that he has decided to choose that way of voting once again, because this is not a new thing for Donald Trump. He has always, certainly in recent elections, used the postal ballot option, despite railing against that method of voting during the presidential election campaign. So it is, perhaps an example of one of the many issues where Donald Trump does and says different things depending on what suits the situation at hand best. So yeah, I think a lot of people, despite the fact that, we've heard so much about how he distrusts mail-in ballots and how they were used fraudulently in the 2020 election. Of course, none of that has been stood up in a court of law. Despite all that, he's still chosen to use that form of voting because for him it was more simple, more straightforward, and it made his life more efficient.
Absolutely, indeed. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Kate Fisher, for joining us and getting us all those updates there. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.